what's up, everybody? I'm still sick. Thank you for bearing with me. This is your girl Ericka from the Classy Climb blog. I want to give you guys a good story here, but I just really want to have a clarity moment. I want you to understand, I'm referencing a couple videos. Diamond Dave did a really great job today talking about planning for the future. Nick did a great job explaining that there's, immigrants who literally freshly here running a business out of a hotel on the sketchy side of town out of Houston, right? Now, many people will be like, oh, Ericka, everybody doesn't want to run a business. Some people just want a good, high-paying job. And here's what comes from that. When you've lived in America and you've had a cushy life, you don't realize that people come from other places and they realize if you just put a little bit of control over your life by starting a business, which is just a piece of paper, having a business bank account, and having a couple cell phones like described in Nick's video, you can run $1 million trucking company from a hotel, right? Or, if you're some of these other folks run construction and all these other things, like the guy who was a legal immigrant, I'll see if I can put the picture here, ran a $3 million a year construction company, and he's a legal immigrant, and then he hired other illegal immigrants. And so what I want people to understand is a lot of people just don't want to try, and that's fine. This isn't the channel for you. Let me be very clear. This ain't the channel for you. If you want to, I'm just an average person and women should kiss my butt and, listen, I'm not the channel for you. I'm the channel for people who really want to make a serious plan for them and their children and anybody who comes from their lineage. I tell you guys all the time, I'm different. I come from a family of winners. We're just different over here, when I talk about future plans of vacation rentals and farming and homesteading, you're going to see an explosion of people talking about homesteading. You're going to see an explosion of lawsuits against smaller towns when people want to grow vegetables and stuff in their front yard and harvest water. And people are going to be like, that's crazy. Why? Because there's going to be this harsh push of folks who don't necessarily have a job. Because the economy they're in won't provide one, and two, because the city they're in isn't a lot of jobs, but they have low debt, they're going to be able to go home, start a homestead, and live well, right? And live relatively well. Maybe part-time work here, seasonal work there and there, maybe cut grass here and there, do a few things here and there, handyman work here and there, and live well. Now, you may say, well, Ericka, that's crazy. What do you mean? You're going to have a lot of this automation that we've been talking about with Dr. Dix. It's already happened. Look at the Rust Belt towns. Look at the places where we move whole factories away from there. And you may say, well, that's NAFTA. Okay, yeah, Bill Clinton, NAFTA, all that other stuff. We hear you, but pay attention. This stuff is happening. This stuff is happening all over. This is going to happen in lots of cities and lots of states. Now, Texas, for whatever reason, Texas, the Carolinas, we're right to work states. We're going to have a lot of pushback for many years to come. But ultimately, when it comes to looking at land and buying up plazas and buying up things, I look in these states because these are where my family live, where we can plan as a group, and where we, stronger is the hand than the single finger, right? A lot of people think having a business is going on social media and having all your friends and family like your stuff. Let me tell you something very clearly. If you think that's running a business, I feel absolutely sorry for you. I really, really do, because that's not running a business. Having people, again, I keep telling y'all, every day I get up, I like me. Your like is extra. And what y'all gonna have to learn is you can have a couple cell phones and a laptop and run a whole service business, a trucking business, a cleaning business, a painting business from your laptop, from your phone in the middle of nowhere. And people will come to work for you. Why? Because they need work. Because they don't want to be in charge of their life. Because they don't want to think about starting a business. Why do people get contractors to come work for them in the middle of the middleman's to millions course? Because they know that it's easier to come work for you than to figure out how to start their own company. And that's every day and twice on Sunday. They rather you concern yourself with the taxes. You concern yourself with the bills. You concern yourself with the hiring. You concern yourself with the leads. They much rather you do it so that they don't have to do it. And I keep trying to explain this to folks and they really don't want to hear it. They're trying to ignore what's the possibilities here, because they realize in order for them to go on with their life, they're going to have to at some point take control. Right? This is why we had all this, oh, I'm never getting married crowd. I'm never having kids crowd. Because they think this false narrative that, having kids is the reason their mom and dad is poor. Having kids is the reason your dad never made it to the big leagues and never got out of his small podunk town. Having kids is the reason your mom's not a nurse or a doctor or something else. No, your parents were screw-ups long before that. They were destined to not do much before that. But we've had this false narrative of, well, if it wasn't for you kids, I'd be living in somewhere else. I'd be doing this whole other life. No, it's not true. We all know that's not true. We've all heard countless stories of parents going to school, becoming doctors while they have lots of kids. Your parent just chose not to do that. So now you are an adult deciding that you don't want to have kids and you don't want to get married because, it's going to stop you from this big dream. But if we ask you what's your big dream, you don't got one. So let's get real for a second. And when we talk about playing Monopoly, we talk about it in real life. The people who want to own a house, and I get it. We got a lot of people in the comments like, oh, it's a scam buying a house, paying for it for 30 years. We never told you to pay for it for 30 years. Back in the day, our parents paid for houses in 10 and 15 years. The 30-year mortgage thing came way after the baby boomers. Okay, mostly in the 80s and 90s. A lot of people pay those houses off in 10 years. Okay, so again, you have people listening to old narratives that way. If I don't own a house and I don't get married and I don't have kids, I'll make it. Make it to what? Hermit life? Good luck on that. And so we'll always have a society of people who want to shirk responsibility in every level of their life. Good luck on that. That's a terrible way to live. But for the people who do want to accelerate, the people that want to be the top 20%, something I agree with on Dave in his video is that you'll see so many people be millionaires. It won't even be uncommon. Now, you saw I posted a stat on Atlanta. We'll put it here in the video that only 24% own their own home. Only 6% own their business. But it's this black mecca, right? Just because a lot of black people are in a room doesn't mean the room is great, right? Just because a lot of Asian people in the room doesn't mean the room is great, right? If you go by Katy, Texas, and you look at this area, off there by the H mark, there's over 150 businesses in that one area. All Asian owned, all various types. Some are the exact same thing. But the key here is they're owning businesses in that area and then taking that money and doing what? Either buying real estate with it, paying their kids' tuition with it, having an actual future. So again, if you pay attention to my channel, you pay attention to how I move, how I've done anything in this past year and a half. Let me be very clear. I don't care if you do or don't like me. Okay? YouTube has 30 million YouTubers. You can go anywhere else on this planet, right? But you're drawn to me for some reason, right? You're drawn to me because you know I'm not lying to you. You know what I'm saying is the truth. That this eviction moratorium and this housing stuff is going sideways for a lot of people who thought, well, I'm just not going to pay my rent for a few months. Those people will never, let me listen to me, they will never get ahead without a rough push for the next 2 years. All the millions of people are like, well, I'm not going to pay my rent, and they owe me this check, and they owe me this, they owe me society. They owe me this money. They owe me this rental assistance. Listen to me. You've had 16 months. 16 months. And if you don't turn it around now, you're going to spend either the next 2 years doing a hard push to get it turned around, or you're going to do something. You're going to have to move. You have to leave that city and start anew somewhere. But the way our economy is now, okay, they got it on your credit report. They got it on all your records. Yardy's going to scan you up. And now you're going to have to spend a year getting credit repair to get some of this stuff removed to make deals, okay? So listen, I'm trying my best to heed and warn a lot of you. Whatever house some of you wanted to buy, now might be the time, right? Whatever land you want to build that homestead on, now might be the time. Towards the end of the year, you may want to start considering, okay, this is the end of the year. What should I do? How should I move? How should I get to the next level? What can I do to change my life? Well, what you're going to need to do to change your life is figure out the course. Are you going to go get a higher paying job and then own something? Because if you never own something, you're always going to have to chase the higher paying job. The guy or girl, and you've heard it in Diamond Dave, when DJ the Money Coach, when we've talked, you've met guys or girls who parents gave them enough money for the down payment for the house, and then they were able to just have a regular stress-free job because they already owned the house, or they already had the down payment for the house. So really, they're just paying a low mortgage, and living comfortably because of inheritance. Now, you may say, well, I don't have an inheritance. That's fine. Just don't buy the car before you buy the house. A lot of people were able to do a lot of different moving, a lot of multi-generational living in the same house because of the fact they owned a house, right? Right now, there's a YouTube couple I love. They moved from Raleigh, North Carolina to DC, and they bought a big old, they're renting right now, but they're renting like a 6-bedroom house in DC. Huge house, Alexandria, right? Virginia, right on the edges of DC. They've got multiple children in college, and they've got elderly parents living at the house. So they got multiple people living in this house, and they're like, thank God we relocated and got this big old house because of multi-generational living. And they're saving money for their parents. They're saving money. Their kids are saving money, not living in very expensive DC, but able to be close to it. And this is very common. This will be a very common thing you'll see. I'm already seeing it back in my hometown where I went back to visit people and they're living with their parents. Oh, yeah, I'm taking care of my parents. And I'm looking at them like, come on, man. Your parents are as young as my mom. My mom's still running 2 miles every day. She doesn't need me to take care of her. You're living here because you can't afford it. Even when I meet people who've lived in my hometown since we left high school and they still don't own a home. And I'm going, okay, you'll just always be a renter and that's where you'll be. So again, you have to make a decision, right? When I come and talk to my family about owning vacation rentals in the Carolinas, owning more properties, opening a better family office for more of the young people to come work in and grow and expand, it's reasons for that, right? It's the headquarters, right? I'm building a headquarters in Central Texas for said family, right? Because the blueprint's super easy. It's literally have a convenience store or a certain type of business center, right? Run as many businesses as you can out of that location, right? Then from there, start buying rentals in that one area, just conglomerate on that area, and then start buying land. And you don't have to keep the land. You can always lease the land, right? Now with all the cool, people kind of making it cool, homesteading, basically sharecropping, right? You can go ahead and let them lease that land from you and build their little homestead, right? So that those people are going to stay for at least 5 years to save up money to get their own, right? Okay, so there's a way and a method to do this. And it's, it's not nation building, but it's like literally a little footprint building, a monopoly building of your own city. And some of you are going to have to wake up and realize that's how it works. That's the only way it works. Is if you have this office, your family comes and help you at this office or your staff, and then you start buying other properties and you start making a conglomerate in that city. You start going to all the city council meetings. You start going to certain chamber of commerce banquets. You start going to certain networking events. You start building up relationships. And again, all this can be done not on social media. Every bit of what I'm telling you can be done completely 100% just local in person. Local in person, to the point where somebody's like, oh yeah, that's old Jim Bob, or that's old Billy, or that's old Mike. You can literally go to any courthouse steps and meet 5 to 10 older white dudes who family owns a bunch of stuff in that one town because they are consistently there to invest, to buy, and build their name up. You're going to meet the same people donate to the school's baseball team. You're going to meet the same people with their name on the billboards. I'm very proud of Shaniqua Badger. If I can put the screenshots here, she posted like a ton of billboards in Oakland, like 27 of them. Now, many of you are going to be like, well, billboards don't make sense, but they do, because people need to see you. People in that local economy, right? People always want to go crazy about running ads. They want to fight and be resistant, but you can't do this running around posting 27 times a day mess over and over and over again. It doesn't make sense anymore. Running ads is the next logical step. Having billboards in your town, showing your town dominance, just that is what it is the next step. Also, buying property and slapping your billboard on that property is another step. There's many ways to create dominance in one area, and you have to decide, is that important to you? So I love Austin. I love that region. And I still love the Carolinas. So, there's areas of influence and dominance you can create. And so, don't get lost in the sauce, right? A lot of people are really trying really hard to get this, build this internet presence and all this other stuff, when you can build multi-million-dollar businesses offline. And I'm going to talk more about it in my Rise of 20% class with my students. But I want you to understand, like, it doesn't matter what's going on this man's internet. Well, you can build countless businesses in your local area, just you. I mean, I put it to you like this. The Kangaroo Roofing, go look it up. Kangaroo Roofing in Austin. They plastered their emblem on all their trucks. So whenever their guys go out for repair, you're seeing Kangaroo Roofing everywhere. They bought at least 20 billboards in Austin. So it's like they are the big dog for Kangaroo Roofing. Well, at some point, they became so big, they bought up an AC company. So when somebody started going under, the first thing they did is call them, right? Like, hey, can you guys buy my business? Sure can. So you got to understand what dominating offline looks like. And for a lot of you, I get it. You like being online. You find your tribe online. But a lot of you don't want to really be successful in the real world. You don't want to join out here in the real world of chambers and commerce and people with actual accomplishments. Because that seems, oh man, that's too hard, Ericka. But I'm telling you, there's going to come a time when you're going to want to build up with your local neighbor, okay? You're going to want to build in your local area and have some kind of local dominance. Because this internet thing, man, Skynet can block your channel next year. Can block it next week. Facebook can block you off. I've seen people just literally internet ghosted on every level. I have a friend who's in a lawsuit right now in Florida and California, and all his platforms are gone, right? And he's having to rely on sharing his story through others' platforms to make impact. And to me, that's a dangerous place to be, where you're trying to fight a battle, not locally, but internet-wise. That's dangerous. But I hope this video made sense to you guys. The reason I keep kind of going, not trying to be doom and gloom, but I just want you to understand that a lot of what you guys are trying to do, be internet famous, it has its place for sure, but you still gonna have to take that money and put it out here in the real world in hardcore hard assets. So hope this made sense. If you have questions, put it under the chat. If you're in the My Rise of 20%, you'll hear more about it there. This is your girl, Ericka Williams. Later.